What's up, everyone? This is Mitch from RespectMyRegion.com here with another episode of the RMR Podcast. Very special guest in the building tonight, or I'm in the building with them, I should say. Celebration of Oil Month, which is July has been come to be known for in the cannabis industry. We got some kings of the oil craft, man. I got Crayzie and Scott Mckinley of the Dabros with me.
Yes, sir.
How we doing today, fellas?
All that joint got me. I'm doing good. How are you?
Blessed. I'm blessed. One good. Maybe scam. Can you hear me?
Yep, I think we're good. I think we're good.
You're good just for the chill.
Right. That's what she said.
Chris wearing a wire. This does not happen often.
Takashi, man.
He feels right at home.
Takashi. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, I start off every episode with kind of our guest origin story of cannabis. So I'll start with you, Scott, and then we'll move to Chris. But just curious your origin story with the plant and the plant being cannabis.
Man, I grew up on military bases, so I was kind of away from all cannabis until I was at the magic cannabis age of 15. And my cannabis story is embarrassing for the first one because somebody gave me a little end of a sandwich baggie that was twisted off with just like one little bowl in it, and I didn't know what I was doing, so I had a little gas station keychain pipe, and I put the whole bowl with the plastic still on it in the end and tried to light it up as a stupid 15-year-old, and I was like, that shit is stupid. I'm never smoking weed again. Of course, we figured it out like a couple days later, but yeah, I was just trying to get high.
That's pretty epic, man. We're all worried about heavy metals testing and pesticides, and you straight saran wrap.
Yeah.
So
Gee whiz, he was already high, bro.
What about you, Chris?
I'm from the ghetto, so drugs are in the ghetto. Weed was there. Ninth grade year. I tried it. So what age is that?
14?
15, I think. Yeah.
Developed a little early for us.
Right. Yeah. Right. Okay. Bad. No behaving. I ain't behaving. And two old friends had a bunch of shitty joints rolled up, and we smoked about 12, 13 of them, and went downstairs, made a bundt cake, ate the bundt cake, and then spoon ate the icing after. Never put the icing on the cake. So yeah, very happy to say my first time was it. I ain't never stopped. I ain't never looked back. Never a day off. Not even when I caught COVID. We still burning. So yeah.
So was it getting high, or was it the bundt cake while high that made you love cannabis?
I think it was the bundt cake, dry as ever, that sealed the deal with the cannabis. It had to be. It was a whole new world. The Half Baked with Dave Chappelle, when they showed them with the Zaba Abba candy and the big Slurpees.
That was you.
That was my first time. It couldn't have been nothing more spot on than exactly that. Like, look at the pretty colors. Wow, this tastes great. Nacho cheese on Doritos. Whoa. So, it was something else. Yeah.
That's a great story. Both of you guys great for different reasons. As we move to another origin story, the origin story of the Dab Roast. I remember, Scott, you telling me the idea for the show, a while before we saw the concept and the pilot. You even asked me, like, hey, would you be interested in, coming and being one of the test people as we flesh this idea out? And I said, absolutely not. Yeah. I do not dab, and so I will not be taking 10 dabs, let alone letting someone film me take those 10 dabs. But obviously it got started after that, and it's been growing. But I'm kind of curious the inspiration and what was around the start of the idea.
Well, I mean, I really enjoyed the idea that Hot Ones did of using the chicken wings in order to disarm their interviewer and to disarm them with all the hotness, where their answers that they're giving are quicker and faster because they're not thinking about them, and they're giving out more truthful, newsworthy answers. And I was like, shit, we need to do that with dabs. But season 1, 10 dabs, 10 questions. Every time a new person sees it, they're like, oh, you mean like Hot Ones? And that's the transgression of the show changing to what it is now, is getting away from the Hot Ones format and turning into something new, even progressing from that 24 episodes in that. And now we're progressing from the Hot Ones format on. But it started as let me just do like a version of what the Hot Ones is trying to do with hot wings, but I want to do a cannabis version and see if dabs will take people off their kilter like hot wings did.
Just might take them off their kilter in a couple different ways.
Yeah, I mean, we just aired our knockout episodes where Chris knocked out Nate Robinson and Ken Shamrock. They could only do 5 dabs with him, and Chris kept going. Both of them couldn't speak anymore, so they got up and were just like, I need help. And Ken slept for 36 hours afterwards?
Yeah. I was the first person he called when he woke up, like, Chris, and he tapped me out. I'm like, you bastard, I needed you to say that on camera.
Oh.
I tapped out the world's most dangerous man, but he's one of the coolest people I've ever met. And yeah, he was just like, it's a little hot in here, guys. I need a little air. I'm like, Scott, don't let him hit the front lobby. Don't let him hit the front lobby.
I'll tell you the real deal. Before even walking into the room, Ken and his management team pulled me aside and said, if you see me start getting crazy eyes, I really am about to hit somebody, and I'll just lose control, and I like to fight. So if you see me start getting crazy eyes in there, just get me out. I was like, okay.
You know what's crazy? I never knew that until right now.
Oh.
So my life was in jeopardy filming that shit.
All the shit was real, man.
On the other side, he was egging you on to ask him some real
he was
personal
like, pay
questions.
attention to me. If I start losing it, get me out of there.
Yeah, I didn't know. I'd have kept poking the bear
Yeah,
and shit.
Chris thought that was the green light sign right there.
Jeez.
So Chris, when you first heard about this idea, because I know you joined a little bit later after the initial start, but when you first heard about the idea, what were your thoughts and what was kind of your first experience within the format?
It wasn't, and I didn't. I think I was coming to do a favor for my friend Scotty. The prior host tore his leg up, did something, sprained the ball muscle. I don't know. He was incapacitated. He couldn't come do the interview. Scott called me humbug with 2, maybe 3 hours notice. Hey, bro, can you come do a? Yeah, sure. I heard about the show. I'll be high, Scott. Busy. I didn't get around to look at it yet, so I didn't know what was going on. My buddy needs me. I'm here, and I've interviewed Bone Thugs and Harmony, and I don't know who the bald head guy was that came with them, but with SMTV. So I've been 4, and I was high doing that, so I never had the microphone next to it was just a debacle. So I'm looking at this 6-7 years later, like, this is my cleanup. I can fix this. I can do this. So I just came to do the show. It was Devin the Dude. Did my best. The rest is history. I was never trying to bump nobody out. I was just coming to do a favor. It springboarded into what we have here. So I love it.
And with all fairness, before the dab was ever announced, I did a competition here called Keep Your Composure. And it was a 1 gram dab where you had to come take a 1 gram dab and then tell the camera all about yourself. And I had 11 different people that were like influencers and stuff come take dabs. Nobody knew that I was auditioning people for a host position. I just did it. And Chris would have been the host on day 1 if he didn't kabobble at the end of his 1 gram dab.
Side note, a kabobble is when you throw up gyro meat or whatever you have eaten earlier that day. Could be the night before. It happens to everybody. You cough, a little long phlegm dot lands on the keyboard, on the table. That's a kabobble, when you cough up already chewed and digested food back up in front of everyone.
So he did that, and Dab Life Mike, who ended up being the host for the first 8 pilot episodes, he didn't kabobble, so we gave it to Dab Life Mike for the first pilot season. But whenever he broke his leg, and I looked at who did the Keep Your Composure contest, Chris was absolutely the only other person who finished the 1 gram dab. And he was able to talk afterwards. Yeah, there was a kabobble in between, but he was an instant yes.
But did you die?
But did you die?
No.
It was an instant, okay, got to call Chris. It wasn't even a question.
Okay. And it makes sense. I know Chris, obviously, he's been to a couple of our events, and I know, he can smoke.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's things on the internet, and it's content we see, but, so I've seen Chris in real life. You really, really put it down and not ever, at least in my experience, and I don't know you super well, but never seen you, you're the same dude, whether you just took a gram dab, have 3 blunts in your mouth, or you just showed up and I don't know if you've smoked it.
Right.
You're the same dude.
You don't know if you smoke it. Right. I pride myself in that quality's lost in people, everybody. So rice paper thin. People are people. You gotta love it. But
True.
yeah, I don't. We might wobble, but we don't fall down.
And so on that sense of like some hosts are unable to complete the 10. Myself, I was unwilling to even be in the early pilot because I knew I couldn't.
Hold it. It was just the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock, and Nate Robinson that didn't finish.
Okay.
All the other 22 guests did it.
Rose McGowan, trooper. Simon Rex, trooper. Everybody did it. Those two.
Now, with
tapped
exception, Simon Rex, the first time he did our pilot episode, he had a
Bullshit.
stand-in to take a dabber for him because he was on a cleanse. When he came to do our episodes when we filmed in LA, he showed up and said, "Oh, I'm on a cleanse next week. I can't smoke right now." And MJ, my girlfriend, she walked up to him and said, "Simon, that's bullshit. We hired you for this. You're fucking dabbing." And he was like, "Yes, ma'am." And he sat down and took all 10 dabs that time.
just took a
He
took a
just
female,
was like,
putting him in his
I'm not
place. real
arguing.
quick.
Okay, let's do it.
Yeah. So with that being said, how difficult is it, Chris, to take 10 dabs in a row and keep your composure and be able to, navigate interviewing someone?
I'll add, and then with a 2-hour break, do it all over again because we film twice in a day.
It wasn't always 2-hour gracing period. So screw what Scott's talking about. And it's hell on wheels. Whatever Hell Week is for the Marines and shit, that's what I feel that is. It's just a gauntlet of cannabis goodness, man. It's not a struggle for me. It's not a problem. So it's not really fair asking me. Fuck, man, does that make me an addict? I don't care. You people are gonna judge me anyway. So, shit, awesome to say the least. Fuck, I amazed myself. I pulled this off. Oh, we got another 10, Scott Anthony?
So he did 20 dabs on camera 5 days in a row while still smoking before and after the show.
Those are not counting in between, in the car, hiding. There's a special stash of dabs I'm not sharing with. Yeah, so, straight up, hell on wheels.
Yeah, 20 dabs in a day on camera, that's a lot.
That's the minimum. That was the minimum for that. Am I doing that every day? No, but when dirty calls, we did that.
When the number's called, when you're in season, right, you're getting the reps up.
What did the older folks say? When in Rome, smoke what the Romans smoke. So,
and this is a little bit of a question for both you guys, but when you're taking that many dabs, right, at some point, the high and the flavor a little bit starts to somewhat blend, right? Obviously, different cannabis tastes different, but how well, if you do 10 dabs, there's going to be some standouts in there, something that tastes really good. How often out of those 10, and everything you're smoking is good, but we all know when you're smoking good, there's different levels to it. How many times in those 10 are you like, wow, this is unique, or wow, this tastes a little bit better or exceptionally better than the rest?
Well, for me, it was there's a thing called poop soup. It means it's horrible. It's Skechers or Jordans, like you said, it's levels. It's preference for things. It's a Lexus, it's a Subaru. What do you want? So, and those all have different flavors, all different characteristics. So with the dabs, they were all different. I mean, it is. That was a little harsh.
We personally make
so
the dabs a blind taste.
That too. I didn't know.
So he didn't know company names when he's taking the dab, so there could be no preferential treatment. Everything is a blind dab.
I didn't know.
I'll tell you, I loaded some dabs in there that were definitely mid-grade, some that were definitely high grade, and he usually called them out 100% of the time.
Yeah. No, I mean, I played fair. Like I didn't shit on nobody. They're all great brands. They didn't even have to participate in Scotch Dream in the show. So shout out to all the sponsors, all the companies that took part in the dab roast. Just some were different than others.
Chris's favorite line on the show is, "That one was the best one."
Yeah, and
that was the best one yet. That was the best one yet. And then the next one is the best one yet.
And the guests are like, "Wait a minute, bro! You just said that. Don't mind me. I'm high. This is the one.
Yeah,
this one right here. So, yeah, shit, crazy.
I mean,
but Scott doesn't know what he's talking about. What camera are we looking into? That one. Have you ever made a cup of noodle?
This is all bullshit.
Have you ever had a cup of noodle?
I don't take 900-degree dabs.
that's where we're going with this. And the nail is pink hot. Like it dissipates before you even put the terps into the dab nail. He takes it very hot.
Okay, me and Chris have been friends for a very long time, and he has seen me when people used to take hot dabs. I don't take those anymore. My lungs are very weak these days. But he has seen me hit some red nails, and he'll never let it go.
At all. Because I'm like, listen, because I did it. We've all done it early on when we've all smoked poop soup, when it was all, we don't know what we're doing. Go, 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 go. As it's pink, hot, and it's just smoking and sizzling, and like we were doing it wrong. So now going back to is it different tastes and flavors, you got to waste it to taste it, which means you take it on a lower temperature. And then now you can taste the fruit.
You know, I have been schooled though. So now my rig at home, it has the terp nails or terp balls in there, and I do cold starts in every single one of them, and I waste half the dab every single time, and it chokes me better than any dab I've ever taken. So, yes, at times in the old schools, I took a hot dab like everybody else, but Chris will always call me Scotty Hot Dab.
That's the man, Scotty Too Hottie.
Scotty Too Hottie.
Yeah, for real. But you know, you waste it to taste it is good, bro. You love it. Like, oh wow. Then you're not coughing, hacking.
You can look back on the show at the temperature gauge of Chris's dabs every time. He's low.
Oh, we're low
riding it. Yeah,
we're tugging. We're not
and
gonna choke ourselves.
That's how you get the taste, and that's why I had interviewed on here Brad Melshanker from the owner of 710 Labs, and that was a big point he made. Was he's like most people's first experience with dabs was not burning, coughing, saliva, just not, you know, a lot of people's experience with edibles back in the day when you didn't know. You know, everybody got too fucked up and slept on the couch for 16 hours. You know, pulled over on the side of the road, just somewhere. But, you know, with this low temp of being able to taste it and take a smaller, like more minor, like that's really for me. I'm not I smoke flower, but dabs really take me out of my element. But a nice low temp where I can taste it, it definitely changes the experience. But that's one of the evolutions. But another one of those evolutions has been the types of concentrates, right? We moved from like pretty much just BHO, and shatter was kind of the next from the poop soup to a more shatter form. So now we have, you know, live resin and rosin and dry sift and all these things. Do you guys have a preference of your favorite types of concentrates?
All of them.
Pretty much all of them. I'm a personal favorite fan of PBHO.
Okay.
So a propane butane mix. I've just started seeing some pressed rosin that tastes like the strain, not just smells like the strain. Most of them to me tasted like hash. They're just so hash tasting that you can't really tell the difference between this rosin and that rosin until people started pressing it inside of cold rooms, and the flavor never changes and it comes out really, really good. And that was the trick that I didn't know before, was you got to press it in a room that's 40 degrees, and if you get a higher temperature, it's going to ruin that flavor. And as these people that are now pressing in cold rooms, they're keeping the flavor inside the rosin, and that shit is awesome.
The flavor, right.
Mm-hmm. That's what I like to say. That's what really got me into dabbing, was seeing rosin when we tour a facility, and I'd see him squeeze it, and I'd smell it and be like, "This smells just like I can get down with this."
Yeah, it smells just like it, but when you taste it, it tastes just like a brick of hash.
Yeah.
Right. But if it's done properly, you get the taste with it too, which there's
like
not too many companies out there that make it taste like it smells.
That's a fact, and that's a big element of it, right? Because I think those connections when we're smoking cannabis, when you smell the bag and then you taste it, and then obviously when the high matches it, and you get that trifecta of senses aligned.
And not a lot of people can afford to set up that big, nice lab, so solventless is the easier way to go. You can set up a solventless lab for $5,000. It's going to be a lot more than that to set up a BHO lab.
Right. Absolutely. So Chris, I know you said all you like all of them, but gun to your head, what? And I'm like, you can smoke all of them, but which one are you smoking first? Which one are you reaching for? Which concentrate type?
Are you rocks and sauce?
Yeah, we gotta go diamonds and juice, man. Yeah, gotta go to diamonds. Hash not. You twisted my arm, bro. I told you what I told you.
You said all of them.
We're good. We'll go diamonds and sauce.
I like rocks and sauce, but I mean, a good terp sugar for me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Big terp sugar. It's easier to control rocks and sauce.
Just boom, yes, yeah. See, but love shatter. I can do a bacon strip now.
It's true.
You know, it's read a book through it. Ember, piss yellow. Like, is this frozen piss, bro? You know, but yeah, it's
Frozen piss.
yeah, how yellow it is. They had dark stuff too, with like a Michelob bottle.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Tastes just like a cornucopia of fruit in your mouth, even though it was dark.
I like that word, cornucopia.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's just flavorful with shit. I love all of them. I said what I said.
That's fair. I'll leave you alone.
Thank you.
What has been so far the most memorable guest or the best episode for you guys individually? It could be the person you're most hyped on or most excited to meet, or just the interview that's gone the best. What are some
Easy
standouts
answer
for
from
you?
me, but we'll go with Chris first.
All of them. It was a freaking overwhelming experience. Who I haven't interviewed yet.
Yeah, there we go.
You know, they were all epic, outstanding, great and funny in their own way. You know, everybody stood out like equally. So I don't think I've done it yet. I don't think I've interviewed them yet.
There's a lot of different celebrities that come on, and I mean 24 different episodes, so 24 different options to choose from. But the one that I was personally just fanboy of was Jared from Head PE, lead singer at Head PE. That dude is, I've listened to his music since I was 15, punk rock reggae, yeah, good shit. And I've sent bands on tour with him, and he was just like, yeah, I'll fly down in the middle of COVID time. I haven't left my house in 8 months, but yeah, I'll come down and do that for you. We're not going to meet in the public, right? In the closed set. Okay, yeah, I'll come down and do that for you. He came, he had a big gray beard, never seen him in a beard before. And I was just like, dude's a rock star, man. And he killed it and talked about aliens and all kinds of good shit. And yeah, I just head over heels loved the fact that Jared from Head PE came on my show.
That's
okay. All right. Scott put it that way, right? See, I'm high. Fuck, I didn't put much effort into it. I'm not trying to shit on anybody. I love all the guests. My favorite was Sean Kim, like hometown hero. He's from here. You are that dude still.
Yeah.
Duncan, the monster dunks, the polarizing. Was still the deal. The Sonics played in the Tacoma Dome one year, and I seen Kemp maybe twice at a corner store. You know, the V12 Mercedes pulls up. Nobody's ever seen that. Like, what is that? They're 13 feet tall. Who is that? Oh shit, that's Kemp. Like, and then to interview him, you know, like, and he is barreling through the dabs.
He does big, kills the whole dab, and
Man.
he's just like, okay, what's next?
What's next? Like, so, and he's got like 18 and a half kids.
I tell you,
like, I'm one of them.
Chris got him on the show. He was like, I have something to tell you. I'm one of your kids. And he totally got him. Sean was like, oh.
I'm like, Like, I'm joking, man. But, yeah, because they say you never want to meet your idols. And that's true. But that turned out different with him. He's exactly what you think he is. Down to earth, legitimate. He doesn't miss a dab roast now that he's been to them.
Sean's just an upstanding guy all the way around. There was a competing brand. Let's cut you off real quick. There was a competing brand that said that they were better than us or whatever, and held up their stuff and called us out in a video back in medical days. Sean saw that video, called me, and I didn't say that. That's them twisting it just next to me, making it seem like I'm saying that. Where do you live? I'm coming to your house right now. We're going to do a video and tell them that they were dumb. And he drove straight to my house, sat and ate dinner with me, did a video in my kitchen. It was just like, I'm setting it right because I'm not letting shit like that out there. I was just like, dude, Sean's a real one.
Yeah, he stands up. He stands on it. Yeah, and I've seen 30 people in line waiting for him to sign whatever he's brought, and he's signing it happily. Pictures, everything. He's one of the dopest people ever, straight up. So yeah, Sean Kemp was my favorite guest on the Dab Roast, and shout out all the guests. I love all of you fuckers.
But it's Kemp man is icon for where we're from in our era.
Bro.
And then I also tell everyone, like, you know, I didn't realize this until I started getting out of the PNW, but for the longest, right, like back before we put weed on our Instagram stories and shit, and you didn't even talk about it on the phone or text about it. Well, okay, well, back in the day, I was a little scared of the federales were on the other end of every conversation. Apparently, was the but
no doubt.
let me get a GP for a 20 bag, get a Kemp for a 40. Man, we grew up using you were getting an eighth or a dub was a Gary Payton or a Sean Kemp, and so it's so dope. All these years later, that Sean Kemp, obviously we knew him for he got in trouble for smoking weed while he's in the league, but now he's really in weed. Where it's like, dude, I used your name to sell and to acquire so many eighths, bro.
Y'all see his new shoes?
Yeah. When are those dropping?
I don't know when they're dropping yet, but he has the Kraken colors on there.
Yeah,
new shoes, new Reeboks, man.
Like zebra print and suede. They're filthy.
I haven't even seen them.
Yeah, he just dropped new Kemps.
Reeboks back how they were back in the day too. Like
it's like
that's that dude.
New kamikaze shoes.
Yeah, and he's really part of the community. How he's turping it up. He's at the events. He's not turning down nothing but his collar.
He brought it up to me one time that what he misses about the Sonics so much was not necessarily the basketball team. It's what the basketball team meant to the community. Every basketball member did community events, did community outreach, did things for the communities they came from here or they lived in here. And when the basketball team left, all that outreach stopped too. All those community events stopped too. And he misses that more than the basketball team.
Wow,
I found that pretty powerful.
Yeah.
How does a professional basketball team leave the state it's been in? How does that always baffled me? Like, we don't have the Supersonics.
And what's even worse, not to go on too much of a tangent, is when homeboy Chris Hansen bought the Sacramento Kings, and the commissioner or whatever vetoed it because they said it wouldn't be right to take another city's team or some shit to the city who had their team taken from. It was like
this, like, what punishment? Who did we piss off?
Right.
Who higher ups?
What we did to you wouldn't be right to do to anyone else but you. Is essentially what they said, and it was, oh man, yeah. Still, so many things heard of that. But what we're talking about, Sean Kemp. Obviously, you're saying, you're giving props to his lungs, and you said most of these guests do. But has there been a guest that has surprised either one of you with like just their lung capacity?
I mean, go ahead. Other than Sean Kemp, I mean, he just really did surprise me. And Adam Ill, he can take some dabs for real.
That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, Adam Ill, he can take some dabs for real. Koala Puff, she's a dabber.
Yeah, she's a little.
But those are like the cannabis influencers that came up because they take big dabs and because people love seeing them dabs. But yeah, there's been some heavy dabbers on the show. Doug Benson, oh man, he could dab.
He's an avid stoner.
Yes, he is the real. He actually smokes all day, every day.
Doug Benson or Adam Neal, what? Them two neck and neck on the intake. Because Kemp, you see him barreling. He's redlining the whole episode. It's a green screen behind us, and it's just like fidgety. It's sketchy because of the smoke. He's blowing out smoke clouds. Like, yeah, this dude is in the cannabis culture. And we welcome you with open arms.
That's surprising. Like, I know Adam. I was actually just talking to him yesterday. So he's one of those dudes that's smoking every time I talk to him. Whether it's on the phone, in person, always smoking. Always smoking. But a Kemp, that's definitely it's not. I guess not. He's a big dude, and he obviously has loved cannabis for a while. But putting 10 dabs down like that is
at our last Dabros party. He was forever had. We burned through like 3 different Cannagars the whole night.
Cannagars is his thing.
And he loves them Cannagars.
He stays with the Cannagar, the big ones. That's what she said.
Like the 10-gram Cannagars. He just killed like 3 of them throughout the whole night.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say something to Nate Robinson, after each dab, before he quit, you quitter, he kept turning to me saying, Kemp did all these?
Yeah, he did.
I swear to God, on my child,
really did all these?
Dab. Kemp did all these, man? All of them, bro. We got 2 more. We got more to go. Yeah,
he was
lit.
He had to bow down. Well, shout out Nate. Nate's done a lot for the city.
That's
I know his brother, man. Anthony, good people's man.
He's a boss.
He definitely hit his wall, stood up, and was just like, okay, take me to my car.
Yeah.
They're like, don't let him go. Don't guys.
I passed no judgment. That would have been me. They found me in the corner somewhere, just staring at my phone. Probably.
They should water on you. Look alive. Act like you've been here before.
I'm a cougher. I 2 dabs into it, you'd be like, okay, this is a bad show to watch while we're listening to his coughing.
Right. And I'm trying not to throw up.
And that's
I'm trying.
And that's what I was gonna ask is like the not coughing, because I know like for me, I don't know. It's like at this point in my smoking, like some days I smoke a whole blunt, no cough. Take a big bong rip, don't cough. I don't know if it's strain or day or diet, But sometimes I hit it and it hits that spot and it's like
it's over.
So how do you manage that?
That's cute. You said your setup. I'm with it too. Is this gonna be it? I'm surprised I ain't did it on the show. These are thumpers I'm rolling like.
Yeah.
But I usually put oil on the inside of the blunts or joints I'm smoking. I didn't, so that might be part of it. But I just try not to go overboard. Like Adam Ill said, just breathe that shit in, Chris. Like, yeah, you're right. Big puffs or whatever. Yeah. So I was telling the guy you got to either invest or so. See, showing out shit. Fine. Done. See, and it wasn't a coughing fit, but it had the potential to go left really fast. You've seen that.
Chris likes to use noise to get rid of the coughs.
But I know we interview. I got the lavalier and shit on me and stuff, but I'd be having a fit right now, and I feel the noise helps alleviate some of the pain from what you're experiencing.
Takes the pressure off or something.
The pressure off. Thank you. Yes. So yeah.
And so for these episodes, I know we're at the studio. We're on the backside. People can't see. We're on the backside where a lot of these have been filmed. And then you film some down in LA. Mm-hmm. What's been kind of the preferred place of filming? Do you care much where you guys film, or is that the environment add or take away from it?
We filmed everything on green screens because we wanted to have interesting backgrounds and interesting 3D effects and stuff like that. And in the actual editing process of it, that stuff is just really hard to get off looking right. And
because of the smoke.
Yeah. I mean, we're smoking and filling the room up,
right? And
that makes the edges around you just real hard to work with on the green screen. And the smoke going through the air, you see the green screen start coming through the smoke, and it's
GGN-TV Snoop Dogg's show. Yeah. Look at that.
So moving forward, we're going to kill the green screen. If we turned the camera around right here, you'd see our whole green screen room is actually a white wall now.
Infinity wall.
Yeah, a white infinity room for photos and everything else. But moving forward, we're just shooting a little different way of shooting. So we're not using the sit down at a table green screen kind of a thing anymore.
Okay. And the white wall, still similar aspect, just different color of screen?
Similar aspect with the white wall versus a green screen, but we're not going to get rid of and try to place a background on it. If we're going to film on the white wall, then we're just going to use a white infinity background.
Okay. And then what did it take? Because I know when you went to LA, you guys had the mansion, filming there. How much went into putting that together? A whole season filmed in a week or a couple days, and a party in this house and booking all the celebrities.
It was COVID time, so we couldn't really invite a bunch of people.
Yeah.
We had to have everybody we had to have a COVID test and or there wasn't even vaccines back then. So I mean, it was very, very closed set, and because we were so adamant about not getting COVID to the stars we were bringing in, we got an RV and we drove down. So we didn't even fly down. We got an RV and we made a whole trip of it and went down there like family and stayed inside of a big mansion together, which we probably should have done it without the mansion. That was a lot of money, but it was really fun. Oscar De La Hoya's mansion. It was really cool.
Yeah, so we needed that. Shout out Oscar De La Hoya's old mansion. That joint is everything.
You had to knock a lot of motherfuckers out for you guys to enjoy that.
It was very awesome. But that's when it comes into taking on partners, taking on sponsors, getting a lot of people their media and their content out of this as well. And a lot of people get to come to the mansion and experience it with us. So I mean, we had a couple sponsors, another executive producer that came on with us that stayed in the mansion, watched it, and got to actually have the whole experience of it as well.
And, on part of that as sponsors, I've known you've been doing events and things since the medical days of Washington. You've been in this a long time, events before cannabis and even cannabis events before the majority of people out there in the industry watching have done, a decade plus in this. How much do you feel like has changed in terms of like getting sponsorships and brands understanding branding and getting their message out there? Because at the start, in medical, some people want to keep things under wraps. At the start of legalization, that phrase I hate, the weed sells itself, actually is true. When you first have legal weed and there's limited supply, sure, there's a line out at any store. You can charge whatever you want. People just want it. But at a certain point, it gets more competitive.
When it levels off, it turns into a branding competition.
There's more supply than there is demand, right? And branding, and just like any other consumer packaged good or athlete or entertainment, brand matters. So when did you kind of notice that shift in Washington and some of the aspects that have changed alongside that in terms of like what matters to a brand in terms of getting their name out there?
I mean, what matters to a brand getting their name out there is always the bud tenders. They're the ones who are actually the salespeople of this marketplace. So I've taken a lot of sponsors onto our show. Our show is completely community built. We started the show doing our pilot season by asking brands to give us $500 and 3 grams. And from that, we built the whole show and turned into $1,000 coming from the LA episodes. So 10 dabs on there, 10 different $1,000 sponsors. We got $10,000 an episode to go film and get everything done. And then we sold commercial slots in the middle of them. So we had like a $15,000 budget for every episode to get it done. You look at 24 episodes on that, we have a good amount of money put into this.
And a lot of that goes to production, right? It's not you. It's not you putting it in your pocket, right?
Zero profit. Yeah, there has been no profit made because we're building this for a bigger purpose. I mean, it's not just going to be a dab show. And working with like the National Cannabis Party now and getting behind the purpose of that is going to be a big deal.
And on that note, obviously that's through a partnership of you working with Redman. I know Redman was originally slated to be a guest on an episode, and I know you've known him for predating that experience, but went from being a guest to then becoming a partner. So how did that kind of situation unfold?
He just saw we were coming to the end of our season, and looking back at the episodes, he's like, "How are you working with your sponsors? You going to be able to continue to do this?" And quite honestly, on our format and how we were working it, sponsors were starting to slow down. We have tapped a lot of people for a long time to get 24 episodes done. And he just said, "How can I help? Can I toss in some notes? Can I give you some notes of what I think this show needs?" And I was like, sure, Doc, send me some notes. And the next morning, he sends me 4 pages of notes with all bold on the bottom. These notes are protected by Redman. So I looked at all the notes, and it was just about adding more community shots, more community storytelling. And to tell you the truth, it's nothing that Chris hadn't suggested for the show, that my other number 2, Jimmy, hasn't suggested for the show. I haven't thought that I wanted to do for the show anyways, but with somebody like Redman and his followers and his history and his status coming on, it's a lot easier for me to tap a sponsor and say, "Hey, instead of $1,000, I need $35,000 to do an episode about you, and we'll go film a story about your whole brand and put it in 5 2.5-minute segments. And Redman will come out and interview you guys, and then we'll go interview a celebrity, and we'll mix it all in together and have an episode that changes from a celebrity interview to a story about a brand to shots at our party, to joke battling back and forth with dabs, back to another celebrity question. The scene is going to change really fast and a whole lot. You're never going to be looking at the same thing for more than 2 minutes. So the new version of the show isn't a long form sit down interview. It's a fast paced moving, bunch of different scenes, bunch of different locations, telling the cannabis story, seeing brands all over the country.
And that's what I was going to ask is where are some of these places, obviously being located in Washington, you've gone to California, I know you've been other places and worked with brands in other areas, but what are some of those other markets you got your eyes set on or looking to work in?
Well, we went to Colorado, shout out ETS, Extraction Tech Stainless. They're our main sponsors. They sponsored our whole first season with Chris Crayzie before Red ever came on. They saw the benefit of everything we were doing, and they gave us $200,000 worth of lab equipment. They got us their partnership with Across International and gave us a wall of ovens. They're getting us the partnership that just closed with Huber to get us a big chiller inside here. So we're getting the NASA style built out lab based off of what we built together. And Redman came on and saw that progression, saw the forward movement, and was just like, let me help take this to the next level. What we're shooting now is not ever going to be on YouTube. What we're shooting now is being pitched to TV. So we're and nothing of anything we're doing would have been possible without the Canacam Harley. I got to make sure everybody follows the Canacam. Nothing would be possible without him. He has been the director, the editor, the director of photography, the audio guy, the key grip, he does the whole production pretty much just with a little help saying, can you just make sure this red light stays on this camera for me? And he's the guy. Now he has Redman coming on as being behind a camera and directing the interviews with the brands that we're going to. So with the addition of new content and addition of new segments from different people and creating personalities throughout the show, Chris will get to do a whole lot more now too. He doesn't have to be stuck with interviewing just a celebrity. He can go.
I love doing that. Though.
He loves doing that, yes. But we are planning like glass episodes, showing off all the heady glass people, testing facility episodes. Maybe even we do some blind tests and have them test the same weed in 10 different facilities and we show that off. A lot of different ways we're going to actually show the community and what the business is really like. We want the 30-year-old that's never touched cannabis in their life ever, that's scared of it, to be able to watch our show and say, these people are taking 5 concentrate dabs, 10 concentrate dabs, still having full conversations, and they're showing these crazy parties and all of these in-depth conversations about the legalization and what it will do for the country, what it's doing to the country, what the time scale for national legalization is looking like, and then tying in the National Cannabis Party, the first federally approved political party representing cannabis, and getting people to register for that and go run for office under the Cannabis Party so we can actually create an umbrella for cannabis for our whole culture, for the country. That is the overlying purpose of bringing it all together. And the show had an entertainment value and a purpose before, was I was doing the Trump methodology of be so far off of what is normal that you push that little dial of what normal is. So we were doing 10 dabs, extreme cannabis, to try to pull cannabis into the mainstream a little bit more. And it worked. We got on MSNBC, we got on Fox News, we got on Complex, we got on Fansided, we got on all these sites that would have never shown dabbing. We got them to show 10 dabs. The Rose McGowan episode where she announces that she's now a Mexico citizen and she's not allowed back in America anymore. That shit went wild worldwide. And it's her taking 10 dabs. The purpose of the show originally was just to be extreme, to push the little needle of normal over for cannabis a little bit. And that purpose is now taken on a much big purpose of actually educating and galvanizing the country to there's an actual political party that's now federally approved that you can register for and you can run for office under. We're not going to meet this year's midterms, but there's big plans for next year's midterms to try to find people in Washington to run for office under cannabis.
That's crazy. And that's I think that's an important thing to highlight, right? You're moving it from like an extreme. It's not just taking 10 dabs. And
we cut it down to 5 dabs because that's the bar of Nate and Ken. Is they weren't dabbers, they weren't weed smokers.
None of these guys were like that.
Not like us.
No need to cut
so
them down.
They came in and for timing on the show as well to make room for all the other segments. We're cutting the dabs to 5 dabs, and then we're adding all the brands in and the parties in and an update from the NCP during the middle of every episode. Excuse me, so that we can truly do something with this show.
Awesome. And on that, on breaking the stigma, Chris, you've been obviously, social media influencer. Sometimes that that name or that title, you know, is a great thing, or we take it with a grain of salt. But I know you've had a good following on social media and put out fucking hilarious content for a long time. You're also an artist. You've been front. Your face has been front, and cannabis
on the ground.
And cannabis use has been associated with that. Like what I was saying earlier, I didn't document things you like I have. I think you've been one of those people that before it was cool, before it was something people rushed to do, you did. Because that's just who you kind of authentically are.
Unapologetically.
And so as times have changed and the stigma has changed, what have been some of the things that have kind of changed for you in terms of you've kind of been the same person, but the world around you in terms of its treatment to cannabis has kind of changed? Have you noticed much?
Oh, yeah. I'm the king of shadow ban. Like, you got to type out the full name and get to scrolling and looking for it. You may not even see it from time to time. You know, it's not even fun anymore. It's not what it was, you know.
You get shadow banned for stuff that happened 6 years ago.
Right. And from what I'm getting or gathering from it, like if you're shadow banned, there's no lift on it, or it's far. They took my page for exactly 1 year and 2 days. On the third day, I got an email, sorry for the mishap. Like, you know, in so many words, not no rhyme or reason to why, what got flagged, was it? And you're definitely talking to a robot.
Yeah, oh yeah.
He's someone scrolling, looking, Scott Mckinley, let's flag him. I respect my region. Get over yourself. That's a robot. And they're seeing stuff or seeing trigger words. It's automatically attached to it. So it's not what it was.
When you filled out the paperwork, didn't you type in what the program was telling you to type in word for word just to be able to get your account back?
I tried that. I did that 2 or 3 times or something. But then a year later, you know, did I go through all the steps? At a certain point, I just stopped. Fuck, all that work, all those years, those memories, those dead people that were on the page, or any of your funny moments or celebrities, are all gone. All gone. For what? For what? So I started another page, got to about 35,000, and then that's when I got the email. Your page at like, what? To put in the password? Nope. And had to do it again to make a new one, and boom, back on. Like, holy moly! I got my big page back, and then it's just went down since I've been back. The numbers just go down, eventually over time. So I've lost 12,000 followers since I've gotten the page back. Video just yesterday, 80,000 views on not a follow, not a bump in numbers, not nothing. So if you notice, if you have a good video or something Instagram deems good, it's the boost post button on the side for you to pay. It's a paywall now on everything, on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever. It's a paywall now. So it's set up for nobody to go viral, pretty much. And you get paid from that.
And if you're doing cannabis, you can't boost it. You can't get paid from it, and you can't pay to boost it.
Not at all. Not that I know of.
Yeah.
You know,
so
and
that means we need a new system, man.
See, I hear that, right? Burners even tried it. The new system, ain't nobody going to that shit.
And ain't
nobody went there. We're here at Twitter. We're here at Facebook.
Did he ever release this?
I don't know. I think this is like the third time of him doing it. I think they're meta tested it. It'll probably go. It'll probably do some stuff. You know, or it may take over the world like cookies did. So shout out Burner. But I'm just like trying to speak for everybody. Like nobody's going to that. Oh, what site? That's new? Fuck out of here.
Yeah, it's
going right where it's hot at.
And
IG, Twitter, Facebook, these things. It's too hard to go to respectmyregion.com and see what I want to see. They got an Instagram clip of it. 30 seconds. Because that's where everybody's at. That's where. So it's like it's fun to say. We need a. If it's not jumping,
I mean, it's
nobody going.
It's so what we're talking about off camera. You know, clout, right? Clout demands that attracts people. Fucking sell their mom for clout. You know what I mean? Like, you know. So when something has clout, it has something. But I also think, like, my personal opinion is like, I don't want a social media just for basketball and one just for shoes and one just for cannabis. I want to be all of me on one place, and cannabis happens to be a big part of that. And like, not big enough, right? Where I would just do this for right? Like I got my Netflix and then I have my Netflix for cannabis. Nah, I just got Netflix, put the cannabis shit on there. You know what I mean? Like I don't.
Porn,
and that's if I go on Instagram, I want to see
if Instagram allowed cannabis or had a green check mark so that you knew, oh wait, that's a cannabis page. I don't want to follow cannabis stuff. They should make a green check mark or something like that. That would open it up completely. But if there's no source out there, I mean, TikTok is so tight on any kind of cannabis stuff. I mean, I'm on my third last warning.
I'm on my fourth. Yeah, I think you get 5 or something. Like, that's shadow ban, that's press, they're not having it. They're not having it. TikTok definitely isn't. It's 2 billion people on TikTok. Any given hour of the day, there's not a hashtag for bud or weed or that. Like, what? They're not fucking with it.
It's even if you say it, they have the program that transcribes everything said.
The trigger
word. If you say the trigger word, it's going to transcribe into that trigger word, instantly gets taken down.
So everybody uses the little emojis, the little plant emoji, and
maybe
smoking. I see people doing this now with no joy in their hand. You know,
there's one lady on TikTok that walks through her weed garden, but she says over and over again, "These are my lovely tomatoes. Check out all my tomatoes," and she never gets taken down.
Shout out her. She's named the brand tomatoes. But back to the Dab Roast. You guys are working on some new content. What are some bucket list guests that you want to have on this show?
Michael Phelps,
Mike Tyson,
2 mics.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tommy Chong dared Mike Tyson to do it on our season finale.
Okay.
And we have Mammoth Labs doing all the Tyson dabs now. George, shout out Mammoth Labs, George.
Shout out.
He's working on trying to get on Mike Tyson's schedule for us to do it. We just haven't been able to link it yet, but we will eventually get a sit down with Mike.
Marshawn Lynch too.
Marshawn Lynch too. We've been talking to his camp for a year.
That'd be a good Marshawn. That'd be entertaining. Oh God. That'd be entertaining.
Those are some big ones. I mean, another one, TJ Miller. I want to go talk to that guy. 2 Chainz just said just fly to Atlanta. He'd do it. So
okay.
I didn't know that. We're getting on a bus right after this shit's over. What?
That'd be a good one too,
Yeah. So we've got a few good people lined up. Shavo from System of a Down, he's down to jump on with us. Get another metal one in there. That's where I'm all about. All these hip hop guys are cool, but I need some fucking metal on there.
Yeah, I know that's your background right there.
Yeah, I mean, the System of a Down, get out of here.
Yeah.
Shit, really? Shavo, you listening? We're down.
Hey, he's getting out there. I just saw he was at Hall of Flowers, man, walking around. He's got the brand Red 22 starting to blow up a little bit more. So yeah, I think it'd be there. And that'd be interesting. Do you guys have some episodes in the tuck that you're excited to come out, or keeping those kind of on the quiet?
Well, Doug Benson and Tommy Chong's episodes, both of those are just fire,
man.
Okay. Doug Benson is probably my favorite episode as far as the content of the funniness, because he gives Chris shit the whole episode. And Chris is like, "What's your least favorite interview?" He said, "This one."
Yeah.
That's like, fuck. He just gave Chris shit the whole time. It was great.
The whole time. And he looks, he is plastered, but he's one of the ones that look wrecked when he smokes. You see some people like, "Bro, you're fucked up, man. You all right?" That's Doug.
And we just started using cue cards, which is great to use cue cards. It makes it look a lot better. But Doug Benson would real fast read the question of the cue card before Chris says it, so he already had a quick answer to come out. So he was definitely on top of busting balls. So it's a really funny episode.
Yeah. That's good. I mean, some guests, you might fuck with a little bit, so you kind of finally he spoke for
Doug
all the
was a
guests,
professional by all means. He's a funny dude.
Yeah. Shout out Doug.
I'd love to get him up here. Our next episode release is the Doug Benson release party. I'd love to get him up here for that. So I need to work with the sponsor. Anybody out there want to help get Doug up here for our next party? Give me a call.
Okay. And then one last thing I wanted to make sure we touch on is, obviously you got the equipment, you've had the brand and the product. So kind of curious about the product integration from the show to actually having product on the shelves and what the life cycle of that's been.
Well, our first corporate sponsor was Calyx Containers, and they sent us 20,000 containers. And I have a license, but I wasn't using it at that time because we have this side of the warehouse that we smoke in. Our LCB agent was just like, seal the wall off and create 2 different businesses so you can open your license back up. So I opened my license back up, and then companies that were giving us $500 to be on the show, I'd say, hey, give me $500 of wholesale on a transfer to my license. I'll go sell it to get the money, so make it easier on you. And then sponsors were very excited. They were like, oh shit, I can pay you in dabs and get the marketing out of it. That's a great way to do this. So I started doing the legwork of just reintroducing myself, because I hadn't been in 502 for many years, back to all of the stores and getting back on shelves with the brand. So I filled the free containers with sponsored dabs, and that's what really funded the bigger part of going to LA to do the further 10 episodes. I got back, and unfortunately, some of the dabs people gave me were great. Some of the dabs that they gave me were the ones they didn't want to sell. So I spent 6 months trading those out in stores to better quality dabs and helping our name, because we got the machines now. So now we're making our own dabs. We're controlling the quality versus just using sponsored dabs to get out on the market. So yeah, couldn't be happier about where we are in the market now. I'm in 90 stores, almost 100, and we're making high quality dabs. We're tolling now for 4 different companies, making stuff for them. About to get a really big contract, hopefully later today. And I'll have a big name that we're producing the dabs for here. They are sending us another machine on top of this one right now, so we'll have 2 machines running back to back. So I mean, we're just constantly getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and we're working on a really big announcement for the National Cannabis Party with a giant music festival coming in Washington. We have the dates picked. We're looking at different locations, and as soon as we get that one announced, that's going to be huge. Can't wait to get a festival people can come to and register to vote and find out how to run for your office under the cannabis at this festival.
That's fire, and I like that. I like that part of the story where it's like to have the vision requires funding. Getting the funding, you went an unconventional route that took more time and turned into even taking more time than initially slotted. But I had to put the work in to flip the work, to reinvest the work into something else and make that work. You know what I mean? And so I very much liken that aspect of the story. By all means,
anybody that looks at me online thinks that we are just fucking killing it, which we are. But if you really look at the bank, we're barely scraping there, because, I mean, we're bootstrapping everything, and I'm proud of it. We started with nothing, not $1 in the bank, and we were working on 3 separate cameras that all looked different color balances. One Sony, one Canon, and one Nikon started this show. Now we've got multiple Reds that get set up, and we do it properly, and the shit is nice. And we've worked all the way up to this point because the community just thought it was a cool idea and got behind it. But at no point in time were we flush.
Yeah.
And we're still at that point where we're depending on sponsors for every episode. Every party could not happen without the community getting behind us. It is 100% a community effort. And now our community just got a lot bigger when Redman came on, because we're not selling to the Washington market anymore. We're selling to the United States market. We're going to Boston this weekend. We shot in Colorado. We shot in LA. We shot in Oregon. We shot in Washington. We're talking to people all over the place. So if anybody out there in the whole country has a cannabis brand and they want Redman to come sit down and tell your whole story, we'll send you a pitch deck. It's a pretty good cost, but we don't make money on it. We're literally just putting it together at cost so that we can get something on national TV to help get the National Cannabis Party's message spread.
I love it, man. I love it. Anything else you guys want to plug before we get up out of here?
Watch the Dab Roast. Watch the previous episodes, those seasons. They're still out there on YouTube. And get prepared for season 2. It's coming.
If you want to see where we came from, go to the dabroast.tv and you can watch the first 8 pilot episodes with shitty cameras and shitty audio, but I still make them public on the website because I want people to see the progression of coming from zero money with not good production and learning through every episode gets better and better and better quality until now we're shooting with Reds and big studios, until now we don't want the studio anymore. We want to take our equipment to people's homes or to different areas, labs and farms, and we want to shoot a completely different style now because we're just getting better and better and seeing what works.
I love that, man. It's all about, so many people obsess over like, I gotta have this level before I get started. And for me, it's always been, you got to just get started. You figure this shit out.
Yeah.
Once you do it, you're gonna fuck 9 things up the first time. There's gonna be shit you didn't even know you need to know till the 5th time you do it, and you can't.
So
if you don't
I'll
get there,
wrap
you're
up
not
with a
gonna get
quick
it.
story.
Run it.
We shot Tommy Chong. 6 questions into the Tommy Chong episode, somebody steps on the audio recorder and blips out the audio recorder, and 200 people in the room, we had to shoot the whole first 6 questions over again. Super boiling hot inside of here.
300 degrees in here.
And we had to just go back and shoot all of the questions over again, and we did. And Tommy was just all about it, trooper about it. When we got the box all plugged back in and went to work on the memory card, we did recover the audio for the first 6. So we have the first 6 questions shot twice. But it was definitely a test of experience in the room of just don't lose your cool, keep pushing forward. We can get this done. We've done 23 other episodes, a good team. All right, Tommy, we just lost 6 questions. Let's just roll through this again and just calmly get through it. And everybody in the room is like, holy shit. But we made it work.
Rock and roll. We didn't have a problem with it. So shout out Mr. Chong for sure.
Yeah.
Doing an extra 6, man, for the cause. I love it. And this is the RMR Podcast, episode 47. I'm with the Dab Roast. We'll be checking in with more content